Hey everyone, so I'm coming with you today with a video, or a couple of videos actually, because I want to show you what good musicianship and good phrasing looks like when it is at its highest level. You've been hearing me going on and on about this a lot lately in reference to like Lara Fabian, Whitney Houston, and many other singers that I've been talking about in my live streams. And by the way, I won't be able to live stream for 90 days now because apparently one of the clips that I use in my Whitney Houston live stream caused my video to get blocked, and as a result of that, they automatically suspended my ability to live stream for 90 days. So no more live streams for a while. But anyway, this emphasis on phrasing, many of you are wondering, why am I going on and on about phrasing? Isn't this supposed to be about vocal technique? And you have to realize that that is how you get advanced vocal technique. In the beginning stages, when you're working on your voice and getting your voice to function correctly, you will not be able to execute many of these examples of phrasing and musicianship, and that's normal. That's a stage you go through. And then as your voice starts to develop more, you can start to do some of this, but then to get really advanced and specific with it, you have to focus on good phrasing and good musicianship. Why? Because that forces you to use your voice in a very specific way. It forces the breathing to work a certain way. It forces your chord closure to work a certain way. It forces your onset to happen in a particular way. It forces you to have to use your resonance correctly. It forces you to have to do all of these things, because if you don't do them, you won't have good phrasing, period. That's just how it works. So to give you an example of really excellent phrasing, I'm going to show you a singer. I was around 2 months ago. One day I was on Instagram and I happened to come across the clip of this singer. It was like a little short 30-second clip, and I was like, oh my God, she is amazing. She's like one of the best singers I've heard in a long time. Like, just phenomenal talent and control over the voice, and just an excellent sense of musicianship. So I had to find her name, and I eventually found it. Her name is Dayanna Griffin, but she just got married recently, so now it's Dayanna Redic. And I've been obsessed with her ever since. I've just been like listening to her like crazy, just simply in awe at the level of mastery and control that she has over her voice. So in the calls that I've been doing recently, I've been mentioning three ideas which are very important to music, and that is pitch, rhythm, which could also be called timing, and dynamics, how loud and how soft you go. Those three things together create phrasing. They create musical tension. Music is all about tension and release, tension and release. And you can use any of those three factors to create tension and release. And one second here, just got to change one thing. So you can use any of those factors to create tension and release. But the one that I want to focus on more specifically in regards to phrasing is dynamics. Many people don't realize how to really use dynamics to create phrasing, and Dayanna does this masterfully. So take a listen to this clip. From the very first note, you're going to hear how sharp her intonation is. Like, her intonation is just spot on, perfect. And then the control with the dynamics, and it's just too good.
All right, Dayanna.
Even that first line, when peace. Do you hear how precise those pitches are? Hold on. I will play it one more time because this is too good to not hear again. One moment. Just need to fix one setting here, and I'm going to just change back to this, and let's do this one more time because that needs to be heard again.
Hey, Mama. All right, Dayanna.
did there, attended. She's playing with dynamics and so much that she didn't have to have a single run in there. This comes before you learn to do runs, is you learn phrasing. You learn how to use your dynamics to create interest in a musical line.
Right now.
Even that when you hear she starts off soft and then swells the volume. You have this contraction and expansion, contraction and expansion. You start when, and then you use your resonance more. You tune to the vowel specifically, right where the sweet spot of the vowel of the resonance is, and you swell into that. You can't do that if you're not using resonance. Listen to that again.
All right now.
Same thing there. Excellent control.
All right.
Such control. Listen to that, stretching out the dynamics. That is called control. Do you see how she's holding the notes, staying true to the pitch, not wavering on the pitch, not going flat or sharp as she holds it out? She hones in right on the pitch and then controls all of her dynamics as she goes from one note to the next, or even just sits on one note. One thing my teacher always said to me is, when you have a sustained note, you can't just hold it. It has to move somewhere, meaning it has to go louder as you hold it out, or it has to go softer as you hold it out. But you need to be moving somewhere with the dynamics. Why? It's a very technical reason for that for the voice. Number one, it helps your breath support. Number two, it just keeps everything feeling flexible and supple and pliable in your body. You have to do that when you get to the highest levels of vocal technique. Like, listen to that section one more time. The way she held out that well. And also, in order to do that, like I said, your resonance has to be spot on. If your resonance is off, it'll get stuck and you won't get this expansion in the sound, and then the contraction again, and then expansion and contraction. You need chest voice in order to get this expansion in the sound, but you also need head voice to get this contraction in the sound and to make it smaller and to make it less loud. You need both functioning really, really well in the voice. She didn't add a single embellishment in there. All she did is just singing the melody, but doing it with great musicianship. Right there, that little kind of embellishment she added in, there's still musicality within that. There's accents, and then you back off, accent, you back off. It's all there.
Yes, Lord God.
Listen to how she controls that phrase. Such control and musicianship and understanding of music.
Yes, Lord God. Sing that now.
People in the audience are killing me. And she paces herself. She doesn't rush. Why? Because pacing yourself is another way of creating musical tension. Listen to what solitude. She started out straight tone, then bloomed the volume of it and brought in the vibrato as you bloom volume. Why? Straight tone to vibrato is, or vice versa, is another way of creating musical tension. There's so many tips and tricks that go into creating musical tension and musicianship that most people, it will fly right over your heads because it's non-obvious stuff. It's subtle stuff, but it makes all the difference in the world. Listen again. Expand and contract the volume. This is so good. Listen to how she held that note, did a half a messa di voce, started out pianissimo, bloomed the volume, but you need a certain degree of technical development to pull that off. If your voice is imbalanced, you're not going to be able to do that. Even if you can hear that in your mind, you're still not going to be able to pull it off. This is very advanced vocal technique, but you get there by practicing this kind of stuff once you have basic strength in your voice. But I gotta hear that again. Great intonation. Now I'm going to stop it here on this particular clip because as it goes on, the band gets really loud, so you can't hear her as clearly. But I mean, that is what high-level musicianship and phrasing is all about. That's what advanced vocal technique looks like and sounds like. I will show you one more clip because there you just heard her basically singing the plain melody to the song, and that's how you start building this advanced phrasing and advanced vocal technique. Is you just take a song as is, no embellishments whatsoever, and you learn how to create musical interest through it using your dynamics and using your pacing and using your timing and your attention to your intonation and your pitch. That's where all of the advanced stuff comes from, and it forces you to have to use your voice a certain way. Normally when people are running into voice issues, they destroy the musicianship and try to build charisma around it. You know, they try to be interesting on stage, so they may be good from a performance perspective, but it's normally as a result of inability to have good musicianship due to lack of control over the voice. So here's another clip where you actually will hear her improvising. She has such a great ear. Not only does she have the musicianship built, but she also has an ear to hear other things in the music. Like, listen to this. This is the best I've ever heard someone sing Jesus Loves Me. Like, this is just ridiculous.
Wow.
You hear even just from the first note, that guy in the audience went, wow. You don't even have to hear more than that to know that you're hearing something amazing. Like, listen again. Like, for anyone who knows music, that first line said everything you needed to know. Taking her time.
Wow.
She can hear that chord in her mind. She can hear that extension to that chord. That they are. She can hear that extension to the chord. Her ear is just. There, that little improvisation that she did there on that what did she do? She added in her own 2-5-1 to the song. Her own 2-5-1 progression. Why? Because her ear knows music. Her ear can fill in harmonies even if no one explicitly is playing them. Her ear can still hear where the music can go. How to create tension and then release from that tension. Tension and then release from that tension. This is why she's excellent. Singing of the highest level. That is world-class singing. This last one, this You Are So Beautiful, this was actually the clip of her that I heard on Instagram when I just lost it. I was like, who is this person? Just so you have one more example of great phrasing. Even that phrasing. If she didn't sing another note, you would know she's incredible. You are so beautiful. Excellent. Yes. To me. Can you see? That you are everything I hope for. Taking her time with the song. And you are everything I need. Even phrasing in the runs. Dynamics. You are so beautiful to me. You are so wonderful. Her vowels are all great. To me. You are so
Oh, you are so wonderful. Yes, you are so beautiful. Oh, you are so beautiful to me.
And that is how it's done. That's what singing at the highest level should be like. You see, she made all of her pitches, was in control of every single thing she did, and this is where knowing your voice really comes to the forefront. You have to know where can you control your voice like that, and what range and then what volume levels can you control your voice like that. And you keep working over time to extend that, to see, can you stretch it out a little bit more? Maybe can you go make a stronger contrast between loud and soft? Maybe can you keep that same control a little bit higher or a little bit lower in your range? But it starts with that. It starts just one phrase at a time. You take one phrase and you learn how to control that. You learn how to create very elegant, beautiful phrasing within that. And then you do it the next line and then the next line until you end up with one song. And it's going to take you a while before you get this down. Like, when I say a while, I mean this is like a long study. When you really start delving into music like this, it's going to take you like probably a good couple of years at least before you really start to get a strong handle on this. But this is a part of learning vocal technique. If you're not learning this when you're learning vocal technique, then you're not learning technique correctly. You're only learning half of vocal technique. So I hope that was helpful for all of you today. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. I will have probably more videos coming out like this in the future. And hope you all have a good day. Bye.